We must stop the terror. Now watch this drive.
Why are you gay? You are gay.
Oh, welcome back to another episode of the Uncle Hack Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here. We're doing it once again. There are no problems in the world. I'm happy to report it. And you know what? Good things are on the rise. Like my stand-up comedy dates, August 7th. That would be tonight in Leduc, Alberta, August 10th. This Sunday, Phoenix, Arizona, August 15th and 16th at Yuck Yucks. I will be with Nick McQuick. September 5th in Tofield, Alberta for a fundraiser to bring back the senior hockey team I once played for. Huh? Isn't that fun? Come on out, support. Let's get the Tofield Satellites back on the ice. October 3rd in Fernie, BC. October 4th in Castlegar, British Columbia. October 10th in Cambridge, Ontario. October 11th in Toronto, Ontario. October 12th in Albuquerque, New Mexico. October 17th in Berwyn, Alberta. October 18th, Grand Prairie, Alberta. October 24, 25 in Niagara Falls, Ontario. November 23rd in Dallas, baby. November 29th in Fort Worth, Texas. And December 5th in Red Deer, Alberta. Tickets available at dangercatshop.com. If you want to support this show, head on over to patreon.com/dangercat69. Also for merch, dangercatshop.com. Welcome to the show. It's been a week for me. I had a dishwasher. Ooh, that's very loud. I had a dishwasher go out on me, and I had to pretend that I knew what I was doing when it comes to electrical. I had to install this dishwasher. Didn't hire anybody. You can't be trusting contractors anymore. That's what I've been told. So you got to do this stuff yourself. You got to be a man. And then I noticed right away, then I was like, you know what? I've been here for a minute. Maybe it's time to start renovating. And now I got this fucking itch to start just building shit. And I wish I didn't. Because now I'm looking at everything being like, well, this wall, now I'm looking at the wall behind me and I'm thinking to myself like, oh, we have to now build a proper set behind me because this is a respected podcast. It's the number one podcast out of Taber, Alberta. And it garners, there's 400 fucking people watching this show live right now in front of me. They've been applauding. They've been laughing. They're having a great time. I'm making millions of dollars off of this podcast, and they cannot stop me. They've tried to stop me numerous times, but they will not. With that being said, I do need to apologize to the listeners. I got a message this week, and I want to apologize to this specific listener. They were deeply upset over the fact that the past couple of weeks we've been bringing up T-shirts, and I want to deeply apologize from the bottom of my heart that I am sorry for stretching that T-shirt controversy to the extent that it got to. We will not be talking about T-shirts ever again on this podcast, and I swear to you, I will not bring up T-shirts. T-shirts are too controversial to be talking about on this show. And I took a stance last week, and I stand by it. I am going to be driving down to Lethbridge, Alberta, or wherever this guy is. I think Lethbridge. I don't know. Wherever Alberta Unchained is, I will be finding you, and I will be putting a stop to this whole T-shirt thing because it's out of hand. It's out of hand. And that's all I'm going to be saying about the T-shirts for a minute now. And even the models in them. Last week we covered... We covered Sydney Sweeney, and we weren't happy about that, right? We want normalcy back in the world. That's what I want. That's what I'm craving. I'm tired of hot. The 90s are over. We don't want hot and sexy. I want fat, grotesque gargoyles promoting products to me. That's what I want. And it was deeply upsetting, the whole Sydney Sweeney thing. And we have to give a round of applause to Zara for bringing back the new normal. I am all for the new normal. You like that new setup, don't you? Oh, yeah. If you're watching this, we're making serious moves here on this show. Zara ads banned over models who appeared unhealthily thin. And I agree. It's about time somebody takes a stance. We don't need these. Regulator found styling choices contributed to models' slightly gaunt appearance. Rihanna Schmunk with CBC News reports. The advertising regulator in the United Kingdom has banned 2 ads by Zara for using models who appeared unhealthily thin, finding the photos were irresponsible to run. And I'm happy that somebody is about time. Like, it's about time somebody's taking a stance. Have you not been in public? Look around. Are there skinny people? Who are you selling this to? It's time to wake up, okay? We don't want hot models. We don't want sexy individuals on our advertising. And this caused an uproar last week. We had to cover all of that. You heard the women going off about this is white nationalism. This is deeply grotesque. This is Nazism. We're not 10 minutes into the episode yet. I can't let the $50 words fly quite yet, or else the advertising goes down. And we all know that advertising is what makes the world go round. And if I don't get advertising on this show, who knows what's going to happen? That's why I beg you to support me on Patreon. I beg you, dear Lord above me, God Almighty, hand me your money, because nobody's running to get any ads on the Uncle Hack podcast anytime soon. Because you know why? Because I haven't found a model fat enough that I deem worthy to promote this show. That's what I'm saying. I can't have these gaunt looking models with Danger Cats merch on. I cannot fathom a world like that where I am proud to look at individuals that I could potentially fantasize about sleeping with. I need somebody who is going to be in my nightmares. And I say that with all the love in my heart. If I could, I would have 19 feminists out in the streets with signs in their hands promoting this show. But unfortunately, none of them fit my health standards. I could possibly reach out to some of the participants of My 400-Pound Life for 5,000 pounds, whatever it was, whatever the show was that was running on A&E, and a few of those people might meet my guidelines. Might. If you need a forklift to get out of a recliner, you might be worthy enough. If I need to, if there isn't enough fabric in the world to stitch together, we might as well just spray paint the logo on a tarp and staple it to them. That's what I'm looking for. None of this Sydney Sweeney shit. And again, we're exhausting the issues ad nauseum around here, because that's what we do. If you're new here, that's what we do. We exhaust every talking point to the degree where you want to shut off the show. And that's a good bit. Ooh, we are spilling everywhere. Let's carry on. A ruling said styling choices for the photo, from the lighting of the image to the clothing itself, the lighting contributed to the impression that the model was overly thin. Her hair was styled in a slicked back bun, which drew emphasis to her head whilst making it appear slightly gaunt. There was contrast in how her upper arms and elbow joints were positioned, which made her body appear slightly out of proportion. In addition, because the style of the dress she was wearing, the model's collarbone was visibly protruding, the ruling said. For those reasons, we consider that, what a world we live in now, that we have to have rules and guidelines on advertising when it comes to body images. Is like, If we're gonna go and step behind the curtain here, and I'm gonna reveal Oz for just a slight second. But isn't it absolutely incredible that we are in a position in time where we now need to watch on how thin the models are? What a world I want to exist in. What a time I could not imagine being in a different timeline where we aren't this. I'm fumbling. I get it. We're getting there. But you know, in the age of Jeffrey Epstein and the list and the Victoria's Secret models and all that, now we can't be having young, hot women on anything. We cannot have that. We haven't even got the list yet. Okay, we haven't got the list, but what we will give you is that we will not have underage girls modeling lingerie no more. How does that sound? Is that a fair trade-off? You don't get to know what celebrities were out there making blood sacrifices to demons in a very luxurious temple on an island. You don't get to know that, but you do get this. No more skinny models. You do get this. So I don't know why everybody's complaining. Is this not what we wanted? Yeah, I get. Yeah, okay. A bunch of pedophiles went to an island. What do you want to do about that? What do you want to do about that? You don't get. Listen, we got fat models now. You have fat model, and you're not happy. What's wrong with you? What's wrong? I know you wanted the list. We all wanted the list. We aren't getting the list. So now this is the next best thing, is that we have to celebrate that we don't have young, hot models promoting fucking Zara anymore. We hit the 10-minute mark. I can cuss again. And we have people out here complaining. The models are too skinny. Okay, fine. We heard you. We are going to wrap cheetah print on what's that goddamn lady's name? We're gonna wrap cheetah print all over Lizzo, and you guys are gonna be happy. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put Oprah in a G-string. Can you not just be happy? You're not getting the list. Unfortunately, the list is not coming. Who was coming was Prince Andrew on the island, but that is a different story for another time, and we're not going to talk about it because it didn't happen. What more do you want? Everybody's sitting around online waiting for the list. That's all I've been hearing for the past month. Even Donnie comes out and says, what does he say? He goes, I don't even know why we're talking about this guy. And be like, you know what? I don't know either. We have fat models, and I need to be happier. And thank you for bringing that to my attention, President Trump. That is very kind of you to bring it to my attention, that we have big-titted fucking vixens all over American Eagle. This is what I'm supposed to be happy about? This is what's supposed to deceive me? Is giant knockers? Fine, I'll take it. But they better be obese. Because I tell you what, you put another white girl with blue eyes and blonde hair in a blue jeans ad, I'm going to fucking riot. As long as you keep doing that, I promise you I won't bring up the list. We won't even talk about it anymore. In fact, I feel dementia settling in every time Epstein gets brought up. I mean, like, who are you talking about? What is going on with that? Who's that guy? What was he doing? He had an island. He's getting whacked off by 15-year-olds out in Florida. Get out of here. That can't be true. They would never do something like that. You wouldn't get whacked off by a 15-year-old on a massage table. You're telling me that his wife is in jail for that? What? This can't be true. This all is made up. It's fugazi. It's fairy dust. It's fake. I swear to God, we're gonna see Ghislaine. I like calling her Ghislaine. It's way funnier. We're gonna see her get pardoned, aren't we? She's either getting pardoned or murdered. One of the two. She's gonna slip down some stairs in whatever prison she just got moved to. It's all going away. Hilarious. For the past years, we've all been just waiting for this. We've been waiting for this list to pop up, and it was the one thing. All of us, conspiracy theorists. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you are on. You want that list, right? Oops, that was on accident, and it's still the comedic timing of it was incredible because that's how great this show is. Even the accidents are funny, but it is rather concerning that the one thing that they were running on, even Kash Patel, head of the FBI, coming out and be like, we want the list, and all of a sudden he caught amnesia on the fucking Joe Rogan podcast. This is a prime example of like, you are not on their team. And I don't know how many of you need to wake up to the idea that the politicians will never be on your team. And maybe this is the reason for it, you know? Like these people in positions of power, you know what they do? They like young, hot ass. You might like it, but you have to shut the fuck up about it, okay? Not me, though. I like obese, old, and almost dead. That's me. Just me. I'm trying to throw hog around at some nurseries, nursery homes. You know, on the ride out, per se. And I'm not even looking to get in a will. I'm a pig. Gross. I know. We're trying over here. We're trying. But it is insane. And it is insane that we are living in a time right now where the information is being suppressed. They're trying to keep it from you. They're trying to treat you as you are just a dumb child, and most of us are privy to this, and then there's another like a good chunk of the poor population that just can't wrap their head around like, why would media lie to me? Why would politicians lie to me? Why would these individuals want to protect those at the helm? Because it's almost like they were in on it, you know? It's almost like they're in on it. They present to you a wonderful idea in words, but their actions are completely different, similar to the Epstein files. It comes out, hey, we're going to release them. Don't you worry. You're going to know everybody that went out there. Everybody that set foot on that island, you are going to know about. And then it comes down to it, and here you are scratching your head wondering, why did a bunch of influencers get a binder that of information that pretty much every documentary has been, that every documentary in the past like 8 years has already gave us? You know, why? And we're supposed to be, it's phase one. Oh boy. Phase one, you're not even going to believe it. They were fucking kids on the island. Can you believe that? I don't even know if you can say that on YouTube. I don't even know if you can say that at all anymore. Your leaders are pedophiles. I don't know what else to tell you. And we scratch our heads and be like, how could they? How could they? Bunch of compromised individuals. Sometimes I start talking and then the words that I'm saying out loud, and then you think about the words that you say out loud, and then you put yourself in the position of some of these people and like follow through on some of the actions that we pretty much know happened. You know, you have a woman that is convicted in jail who was an associate of many of these folks. And on top of it, a family member deep in the Mossad. You have a husband who it makes zero sense whatsoever on how he got into the position that he was. Not underqualified by a landslide. You and I, we've tried shooting for the stars in whatever field that you're in. Like right now, let's say I walk onto a job site, say I'm a journeyman welder, and they just accept it. And then in fact, they give me millions and millions of dollars, and then I take over the company, and then I buy mass amounts of real estate all throughout North America, and have these wild parties with some of the best welders in the world, the best electricians, and we're up to nefarious things, and nobody's going to want to know more, and we're supposed to just forget about it. All of a sudden, all these tradespeople that are best in their industry are gathering together, and they seem to be up to no good. You're not telling me that we're all supposed to just be like, no, that's just what they do out there. That's just what they do. They're up to no good, those little devils. But thank God we have fat models still. Thank God. And we got more wonderful news out of the great province of Ontario. This is going to make all of you happy. North America's tallest ram statue inaugurated in Mississauga. Hey, let's give it a round. We're doing it. You know, we're really doing it here in Canada. I'm glad that we are. We're making everybody feel welcome, and we're going above and beyond everybody else. And now I know before you guys start fucking ripping on me, this project was funded by a very wealthy businessman. And, you know, this is something that I think is going to bring the community together. I think this is great. I think this is wonderful. I hope all of you understand that this is what we need as a nation, is a giant, the North America's tallest ram statue here in Mississauga, for all of us to understand that we are a melting pot. And this is beautiful. It is lovely. I am so happy. The endeavor began 4 years ago and was possible after an Indo-Canadian businessman provided the funding for the project. Good for him. Well done. We are very pleased. We are very happy. Marking a significant milestone, one of the tallest statues of Lord Ram in the world was inaugurated in the Canadian city of Mississauga in North America on Sunday. Hey, hats off to Ontario for really doing it. Standing at an impressive height of 51 feet, I am actually upset. Hold on. The Hindu deity statue is the tallest in North America and was unveiled at the Hindu Heritage Center of the city. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. How much did this thing cost? The elements of the statue were built in Delhi and assembled in Canada with the steel framework constructed to last 100 years. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. What is the cost on this? What is the cost? He further commented, to witness 10,000 people coming together in devotion. That's not enough in my eyes. 10,000 people, that's it. That's it. Ontario, you should be ashamed of yourself that there was not 100,000 people who showed up there. This is deeply upsetting, and we as Canadians need to rally together and go celebrate something like this. In fact, you know what? I gotta say, I am a little pissed about this. I am a little pissed. Why did we not go for the largest in the world? Why just North America? You know, why didn't we melt down the statues we pulled down of John A. MacDonald, Mr. Ryerson, Alexander Wood, Joseph Hugard, to make this? What a waste of resources. We have those statues just sitting in the wings right now. And we could have melted them down and did whatever we possibly could to ensure that this statue was the largest in the world, and we had a missed opportunity. And that deeply upsets me. You know, Mississauga, I know you tried. I know this Indo businessman did the best that he possibly could to make sure that, you know, the community could come together and rally behind a giant statue, but you missed the mark. We have statues sitting in the wings that are not being used. And what a perfect representation of Canada to melt those things down and add them to that statue. So shame on you, Mississauga. Shame on you. You had a perfect opportunity to use resources. We here in this country, we love recycling, and you could have done that and you didn't. So shame on you. We have 4 perfectly fine statues. I don't know where they are, what they're doing, but I tell you what, they would have probably added maybe another 50, 60 feet onto that statue. And here we could have had possibly the largest in the world. Possibly the largest in the world, and we didn't. So, you know, once again, Canadians have more to be ashamed of than proud. And that deeply upsets me. We are trying our best out here. We're trying to do whatever we possibly can to bring the community together. And I will say this. I am upset. You know, those 4 statues, what are they doing right now? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And they could have added to the Lord Ram statue. It is disgusting what this nation has become. It is truly disgusting what this nation has become. And I gotta say, we will march on. We as Canadians, we have our elbows up, but I gotta say, it's time to get those elbows a little dirty, isn't it? It's time to go and dig up those statues and let's add to Lord Ram. Let's give him a sword or something. I'm sure John A. Macdonald statue has enough material there that we can melt down and make a sword for the Lord Ram. I'm upset. And I'm about to bring more information that is even more upsetting to you. And it gets worse and worse. It does. You know, we have a bill being presented, and I think it needs to get rushed through. That's what I do. That's where I am at. Representative Garnett Genius, the Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan representative of the MLA, is supporting a common sense bill, S-209, previously S-210, to protect minors from accessing sexually explicit material online. We almost got it passed in last Parliament, and hopefully we will get it done in this Parliament. Watch as Liberals actually heckled me while presenting this common sense petition. We're going to take a nice little listen in on what was going on here with Mr. Garrett.
For those accessing, the petitioners are calling for meaningful age verification for those accessing sexual material online. They note that consumption of sexually explicit materials by young persons is associated with a range of serious harms, including the development of pornography, addiction, the reinforcement of gender stereotypes, the development of attitudes favorable to harassment and violence, etc. And the government House leader doesn't want to hear this, but it's an important petition, and I hope he'll take note of it and support this important bill. Petitioners call upon the House of Commons to, they say, adopt Bill S-210, it's now S-209, protecting young persons from exposure to Pornography Act.
Wonderful. You know what? If there's anybody that I want to trust when it comes to viewing anything online, it is the federal government. Now, we've seen in the United Kingdom how this slippery slope begins, and I tell you, get out your toboggan. Get out your crazy carpet, because we're going downhill, okay? What we need, see, this is where a lot of you are wrong. What we need is more people like Garnett making a stance and involving the federal government more in your personal life. I think that's great. I don't know. Call me crazy. Call me a lunatic. Call me a silly fucking goose. Whatever words you want to say, they're not going to hurt my feelings, because I think the federal government needs to step in right away and start regulating the internet. They need to step in and start regulating the internet immediately, because there is some very, very, very gross stuff out there. Very gross stuff. The other day, I opened up social media, and you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. I open up social media, and what do I see? I see a sketch from CBC's This Hour Has 22 Minutes. And I thought to myself, you know what? If the federal government had its paws on the internet, I would have more of that and less of that nonsense that's going on, because I was gut laughing. I was gut busting laughing. I was in tears. I was laughing. It was so painful to laugh. That's how far the laughter went. I was in tears. My body is now dehydrated. I almost passed out on the floor because I had no fluids in my system anymore, because I was laughing to the point that there was a stream of tears coming out of my eyes, and I need more of that in my life. That's what we need in our social media feeds. We don't need people creating things and criticizing the government, or, have age verification on porn. We need that right away. You you need to put in your ID into some of these porn websites. And hopefully the government is smart enough to purchase these websites so that way they can collect the information to see what perverts are out there. You know, hopefully they are smart enough to work with that large pornography company out of Montreal and go side by side with them and be able to collect the information that is needed. Seeing as the ArriveCan app was a total failure, the only way you can get these people is by letting them upload their ID into pornography websites. So that way you can monitor their online activity. Because nobody was lining up. Nobody cared to go and apply for that. No, but if you take away something that is very dear to their heart, like watching other individuals film themselves fornicating, we might be able to get the information that we need. And I'm behind Garnett on this idea. I think we need that right away. I think the liberals have their heads up their ass right now and need to pass this bill right away. And right on top of it, if you're smart, you're going to tail that with a lot of other stuff. You're going to tail it with a lot of other stuff. And I think that it's time that we start treating the internet the same way the United Kingdom is. You know, the sites of the federal government on both sides of the political spectrums needs to be focused on more control of those with voices and capable of violence. That's where they need to be focused. Because these words need to be outlawed. Now that I'm thinking about it, words need to be outlawed. We just need to be walking around in public, head down, don't communicate with anybody, because God forbid if you exchange a thought, jail. That's what I believe. And that's why I am, you see articles like this out of the UK. Okay. You see articles like this out of the UK. Arrested woman after Facebook posts about ex-partner, a serving officer. And that's right. Back to blue. London force sent 3 officers at 4:45 in the morning who put her in the back of a van and seized her phone and computer. That's exactly what we need. We need more women arrested for slandering men online, especially our officers, those that are protecting us. These women need to be in jail. They need to, you cannot have an opinion online. A woman was arrested by police who sent a riot van to her front door at dawn after she posted about her ex-partner serving Metropolitan Police officer on Facebook. Sarah, asterisk by her name, had been alerted by a friend to post about her former partner that had been made in a local Facebook group linked to Are We Dating the Same Guy? Oh, these things are nefarious, aren't they? They are they are grotesque. They are evil. Jail. We need to, take a time back and we need to ignore all the rampant crime, drug use, addiction, home invasions, the sexual assault, the R word, the R word. We need to ignore all of that and be jailing people that want to go online and make opinions. That is much more important and much more conducive to having a functioning, great society, right? Thank you for agreeing. Sarah commented on the original post saying she and her ex-boyfriend were together for almost 5 years and then he cheated on me and gaslit me saying I was wrong. She then made her own post in the group warning other women about her ex-partner. I was basically just saying that I just want to warn other women, she said. Oh, that is not what you do. That is not what you do. Straight to jail. Through the group, she said she found out more information about her ex-partner's behavior while they were together and sent him 2 messages. In one, she called him a pussy. Oh, 5 years. And then blocked his number. I messaged him and just basically said, the audacity of you to blame me for the breakdown of our relationship. I thought nothing until the 13th of May when I got a knock on the door while banging on the door at 4:45 in the morning. Sarah opened the door to 3 police officers who told her they were there to arrest her for alleged harassment. I knew instantly it was him. See, you got to back the blue, folks. You got to back the blue. You post on Facebook, you're going to jail. Enough with the Facebook. You're going to jail. You're going to the hammer. Look, we've tried to have a nice functioning world with social media involved in it, but this is where it ends up. This is where it ends up. You want women on a Facebook group talking about how bad you are as a human being. I mean, there's probably plenty of women in a Facebook group right now, probably their own group chats, if I'm being honest, making their own group chats saying, oh, this warded cock loser, he told me all these things, and I don't blame them for doing that. You know, all of it is true. And I deserve to be in jail, but I'm not going to be in jail because I'm not going to post about it on Facebook. Instead, I go out in public and I rob people like a normal human being, like a person in a functioning world should be doing. What I do instead of posting on Facebook and risking going to jail for a decade, what I like to do is gather up 6 or 7 of my buddies and I go kick in front doors and do home invasions. That is much, much better for the world that I want to live in. Okay, I don't want people like this going online and slandering my name, and they deserve to be in jail. Now, what I do in my spare time is I like to go and take all the knives in my kitchen. I load them up, and then I go and when the traffic is stopped, I pick the car in the front. I punch the window out and hold a knife to their throat and tell them to get the fuck out now, and I rob their vehicle. And people have the audacity to say that I'm a bad guy online. I think that they need to be in jail for thinking some nonsense like that. It is absolutely gross that people think it's okay to be posting about shit like that on the internet. You know, it's time to shut up on the internet and just get a couple buddies, and go out and do petty crime. Some call it petty crime. Some call it very, it's not a victimless crime. You got to go out there. You got to be a part of the world. You got to get offline. That's what they're trying to tell you. And that's why I agree with somebody like Garnett Genius by saying that we need age verification on the porn websites. And then that slippery slope begins to where now it'll turn into people posting online and going to jail over it. And you need to be outside in the world and existing in this beautiful, beautiful country and partaking in some of our favorite pastimes now. You know, we used to, when we were in improper country, we used to gather and play hockey or sports, or you would have community events, but those days are long gone. And thank God they are. Could you imagine going outside and not fearing for your life? How dumb would that be? That is the silliest thing I've ever heard. I can't believe there's folks out there that think that is what we need. Are you dumb? No. We need to justify the mass amount of money being laundered into policing. We need to justify the wages of these politicians who are presenting bills like this that I think further the cohesiveness of a very safe and functioning society. That's what I think. I think that we need more home invasions. I think everybody needs to get involved in it. I think it's a great community activity. I think that, carjackings, I think carjackings are a great way because you can't just do that with one person. You need a getaway driver. It builds trust with your peers. There's a lot of things. There's like communications that's involved. You can't just go and kick in a door and start waving a fucking baseball bat around demanding things from inside their house. No, you got to go in there with a plan. You got to, you got a scouting mission. Oh, that's a Jaguar. You want a Jaguar, right? You want the Jaguar. It's a highly coveted car. You want the Jaguar. You can't afford the Jaguar, so now you got to, put a plan together with your peers. And then all of you decide that one night you're going to, put this plan into action, and that's team building skills. Okay? Instead of just sitting online and writing nonsense just in a virtual world that means nothing, you then partake in group activity. And to me, that is very special. And I applaud those that are doing such activities with one another. I think it's great. If you want to, let's say, you want to smoke Dave's Dillies, as Sam calls them. some of David Eby's dillies underneath out in Granville, out there in East Vancouver. There's a lot of things that need to take place. You got to go and purchase those opioids. You need to then find something that you can smoke it out of. It's a community event. You're stimulating the economy. God knows where that drug dealer's money's going to go. Maybe he buys some property. Maybe he buys a car. And then guess what? That car now becomes a coveted item that these carjackers want. And this is how we all get along. Are you following along? It is tiresome to sit here and bark down at you people week by week until you finally get it. It is becoming very tiresome to sit here. I got to set up cameras and lights and do this all for the 1.5 million people that are going to watch this episode. And the fucking 8.9 million that are going to listen to it. It just deeply irritates me. It deeply irritates me that none of you just can't wrap your dumb heads around how we move forward as a species, as a country, as a nation, as a functioning society. Do you clean out your ears? I'm going to say it one more time. As a functioning society. So I don't know why you get up in the morning and go and pretend you're an electrician when deep down in your heart, you don't know what you are, is a break-and-enter specialist. You spent all those years doing carpentry. You know how the house is built. You know the best way to get through that door. Why are you wasting your time working for an hourly wage? That's silly. That's silly. Go and kick down a front door of a 86-year-old woman, hold a knife to her throat, and steal her Buick. Christ, is it that hard to understand? It's the Canadian way. You want to make money in this country? I tell you, now I got to turn into an economist just to educate you dummies, okay? You want to work, you need what they call residual income, right? And break and enters, if you tie the two words kind of there, it's like residual. It's almost there. It's almost the same. And what you can do with that is then you can rent the car out on Turo. Okay? You park the car, you rent the car out on Turo. And when the car becomes a little outdated, or maybe the police start catching on, you just dump the car, you sell it you put it in a sea can and ship it over to, I don't know, let's say Yemen. I'm sure there's a few guys over there in Yemen that would love a Jaguar, and you can sell it for pennies on the dollar. There's no overhead. There's no time wasted. And what, you want to go and work for $27.50 an hour? It would take you years to make what you're going to make selling that Jaguar to some Nigerian prince. God, is it that hard? Is it that hard? I don't even know. This is falling on deaf ears. Now we move forward once again. Big news, folks. We have big, gigantic news. Our good friend, my good friend, Tim Houston, Premier of Nova Scotia, making a bold statement this week. A lot of people upsetty spaghetti. Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston announces that citizens are now banned from entering the woods, including hiking, to prevent wildfires. No more people in the woods. And I say good, because you want to know who's going out to the woods? You want to know who's going out to the woods? Clan members, and they're lighting crosses on fire, and it's about time we drew them out of the woods. Tim Houston's doing a good thing here. Tim Houston's doing a good thing here, and a lot of people want to argue against him because I know who's going out into the woods, a bunch of no-gooders, and they're lighting crosses on fire. And now they can't. They got to do it in public, and now we know. Now you know who is doing those nasty things like that All those thousands of Klansmen that go out into the woods, light a cross on fire, and do their little singing and dancing about racism, now they can't go out there anymore, and thank God to somebody like Tim Houston. If a guy like this didn't exist, we need more leaders like that. No more going in public. 2 years to flatten the curve. Flatten the curve. Flatten the hike. 2 years to flatten racism from... 2 years to flatten racism from the Klansmen not going out in the woods anymore. Believe me. And this is well worth it. Anyways, we're going to head it on over to our good friend, Tim Houston, who's going to let us know exactly what's happening out there.
Effective 4 p.m. today.
Good.
We're telling Nova Scotians, stay out of the woods.
Absolutely.
We are restricting travel and activities that really aren't necessary.
Good.
For most of us. Hiking, camping, fishing, and the use of vehicles in the woods are not permitted.
Yeah.
Trail systems.
Exactly. You hear that? You hear that? Let's go back just
Of the woods.
Let's start right from the beginning. I got a few things to add.
Effective 4 p.m. today, we're telling Nova Scotians, stay out of the woods.
Good.
We are restricting
No more racists in the woods.
travel and activities that really aren't necessary for most of us.
Good.
Hiking, camping, fishing, and the use of vehicles in the woods are not permitted. Trail systems through woods are off limits.
And don't even think of using a tunnel. I've already snitched. He knows where all the tunnels are, so you can't even get out there. You go out there in a tunnel, and we all know who uses tunnels. Hamas.
Camping is allowed, but only in official campgrounds. The fine for violating any of these bans is the same as the fine for the ban on burning, $25,000.
Oh, Tim, that's not enough. That is not enough. $25,000. What is it? Don't you know that most Canadians are walking around with that in cash? $250,000. Make these people think twice. $25,000. Are you crazy, Tim? Canadians are very wealthy right now. They can throw around $25,000 like it's pocket change, you asshole. This is about not saving the environment. This is about battling racism. And we all know that those people going out in the woods that they have $25,000 to spare. This is grotesque. This is deep. You know what? I'm upset. Tim.
And if you're a smoker, for God's sakes, be mindful of where you're butting your butt out. If you don't and you cause a fire, we will hold you accountable.
Good.
So what does this mean if you have a home?
In fact, you know what? I'm going to go a step further, Tim, and I'll take over from right here. What I say we do is if you see somebody with a lit cigarette, I am allowing you to beat them to death. You heard it here first on the Uncle Hack podcast. I'm looking at you. If you see somebody smoking a cigarette in Nova Scotia, I am permitting you to club them until they have no pulse. That is a law. I wield a lot of power in this country, and I am permitting all of you, Canadians. In fact, this is going to be permitted nationwide. Anybody smoking a cigarette outside, you will be subjugated to a gang beating. The only places you are permitted to smoke are in vehicles with your children. Keep that in mind. If you think you're going to harm the environment, no, you're going to harm your own family. Back to you, Tim.
Or cottage surrounded by a wooded area. We strongly encourage you to stay out of those woods, regardless of where they are.
Yeah.
Please don't do anything that could unnecessarily put you, your family, or your neighbors at risk.
Yeah.
This situation sucks. Summer is one of the best times in Nova Scotia, and we all look forward to getting outdoors and enjoying our scenic beauty that surrounds us. I get that, and I'm right there with you as Nova Scotians. But you can still go to the beach. In fact, that's a great place to be on these hot, dry days.
No, it's not.
No bonfires. If there's a short trail to get from point A to point B, like from the parking to the beach or to the lake to fish, that's fine. But that's...
Oh, I don't like what you're doing here, Tim. You're almost permitting a little bit of hiking. It sounds like you're retracting your statement that you made earlier, and I don't like that. And I'm going to double down. If you are on any of those trails, you will be subjugated to the same treatment as somebody smoking a cigarette outdoors. I am allowing Canadians of all creeds, cultures, races, religions, sexualities, from A to Z. If you spot anybody walking on a blade of grass, you can club that person with any item that you can find in your household. Any item. And you can beat them to a pulp. And that is me as an official of this nation. I am an official of this nation, and I am allowing Canadians to come together. And if you see anybody smoking, walking on grass, even remotely close to any form of plants, you, my friends, my colleagues, my constituents, my fellow Canadians are allowed to beat these individuals until their pulse is done. Tim Houston has stamped this. He has approved it, and we will carry on. All right, Tim, back to you.
No heading into the woods to spend time there.
No.
I know it's inconvenient. I know it's the height of summer vacation and people want to do all the activities that we so much enjoy in our great outdoors. We have a beautiful province. I know everybody wants to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But we have to stay out of the woods. It's a small price to pay right now to avoid the kind of devastation that we saw from the wildfires in 2023.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody wants to go back there.
No, not me. Not me, Tim, and we thank you for taking a very bold stance today. You know, it's about time somebody wants to drag these racists out of the woods and make an example out of them, and I applaud you for that. You know, the last thing you need is a bunch of Klansmen out there burning crosses, causing another wildfire to devastate this country. The Americans are pissed that they have all this smoke coming down there. And, you know, that it is just that we can't afford that right now, especially if Trump decides to tariff the smoke. We can't afford that. We can't afford smoke tariff right now. What? Are you out of your mind? We're barely getting by as it is. You know, if you think that you're going to drink yourself into oblivion, no more American booze, no more smoking cigarettes, no more going out to the woods with your little buddies in your little hoods and burning your little crosses and thinking that you're up to something positive. It's over. It's done. I catch you. You're getting a 9-iron upside the temple. I see you outside, even here in Edmonton. I'm making the same rules. Thank you, Tim. I'm very happy that you brought this to my attention because you know what? There's some people out here that seem to think that walking through the river valley in Edmonton, Alberta is a wonderful idea. And I'm going to be down there with a Louisville slugger clubbing them in the head like they're fucking seals. I am going to really lay down the law. This is similar to like when we were in lockdown, you know, and those kids thought it'd be a brilliant idea to go out there and have a little skate on the outdoor rink. I will be sending officers juiced to the gills, and I'm going to give them brass knuckles and batons with spikes through them. It's time to get rid of the dead wood. Pun intended. We are going to start our own wildfire and get rid of the scum of society that thinks that going out into the woods is a good idea. You want to know who goes out into the woods? I've already said it. It rhymes with pan and member. Okay, pan members. That's who's going out there. I'll even solve the riddle for you. Clan members. That's who's going out in the woods, and they don't deserve to go out in the woods. It's done. It's over. You're dead. Me and everybody else in this nation now have a golden ticket and a notebook to go out and collect names and beat you to death. If that doesn't put the fear in your eyes, wait until you see some of the goons I got. They're big. One looks like a werewolf. The other one's a turtle. I put ooze in them. And then I have hundreds and hundreds of disenfranchised youth that I put ninja masks on. And we call them the Hand Clan. Huh? How does that sound? And if you think that you're going to put those four turtles on my ass, you're out of your mind. I've already caught them. They're in my basement and I'm torturing them. In fact, we put them in soup and served them to the Chinese. Done. I get to run free reign on this. I am the law. I'll enforce the law, and I've become the law. And all of you will obey what I am presenting. And either you get in on it or you're in the way. Simple as that. Oh, look at that. My aunt is outside smoking cigarettes on her front lawn. Bam. 9 iron to the temple. Oh, looky. My little nephew's out in the woods going for a little stroll because he wanted to walk through the little path right there. Oh, you didn't want to take the long way. Oh, it's a shortcut. It cuts an hour off my walk. I don't have to. Oh, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. What were you doing in those woods? Saying the N-word? Bang. Shot to death. Well. What do we have here? A homeless guy sleeping in a bush. What were you up to in there, huh? About to start a fire, were ya? Were you about to drop a cigarette butt in that dry grass and cause a little bit of an issue for the rest of us? News for you, buddy. I'm going to put a rope around your neck and push you off a bridge while it's secured to the top of the bridge. It's done. It's over. I'm the cartel now. There's nothing you can do about it. Oh, it feels good to be laying down the law again. It feels good. Nothing I love more. $25,000 fine. You're out of. No, you're going to pay with your life. I'm gonna beat you to death with one of those dildos that they're throwing at the NWA, the NWA player, the WNBA players. Holy shit. Anyways, folks, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Uncle Hack Podcast. We will see you next week. Hey, head on over to patreon.com/DangerCat69. Great way to support the podcast. And we will see you again next week, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Hopefully you beat somebody to death that wants to smoke a cigarette outdoors. Do your part. Stop the spread.